Welcome to the CGAP Coordinated Grant Application for 26-27. So you have the Homeless Housing Services Technical Assistance session for the 26 Coordinated Grant Entry Application process. For the Homeless Housing and Services 2026 application is used for HHGP, AHGP, and CHG funding. Housekeeping.
So yeah, we'll be opening up for Q&A at the end of the training. So if you have any questions, please note them somewhere and you can ask us at the end. Thank you.
So our Homeless and Housing Division staff, I'm Carl Borg, Corey Durenberger, and off camera, Virginia McCausland and Leah Nolan. So our agenda for today is to do an overview of the coordinated grant process, the 2026 grant application, filling out the application and SurveyMonkey apply, application and review awards process, and then getting help, questions, and then we'll end with Q&A at the end. So of course, I just keep track of your questions and we'll answer those at the end. So an overview of the coordinated process. So it's the same online application platform as prior years, SurveyMonkey apply. Multiple funding sources. We use this platform and applications will open and close on the same schedule. So applications open June 17th and the deadline is July 15th at noon. So there's two parts to the application. Part one is the organization application, complete once for your agency. And then part two, the Homeless Housing and Services 2026 application, and complete one application for each project for which you're requesting funding for. Grant application. So only submit once for all 2026 coordinated grant applications. Part one is the applicant organization information, organizational chart, your board information, agency budgets, financial statements and audit, fiscal and procurement policies, non-discrimination policies and procedures. Then part two of the project information application is divided into 5 tasks, and remember to submit part two application for each project. So your program description, need and population served, program financial information, program performance measures, and low barrier assessment. So reminder, one for each project. So if you have 3 projects, you'll have to do 3. Program description, program information, location, service area, number served, funding request and what the funds will be used for, contact information, type of program and program summary, program history, challenges and best practices, as well as program staff. Number 2 would be the needed population served. So the community need, the target population and income level, community impact, intake and eligibility criteria, community collaboration, outreach to target population, and consistency with CGAP homeless crisis response and housing plan and priorities. Part 3 is the financial information, so sources of financing and budget, funding commitments, board and fundraising, and sustainability plan, performance measurement worksheet, the number of households served, statewide targets, client outcomes, and data quality, housing type performance measures, additional performance measures, outcomes, and targets. Low barrier assessment, programs that may be funded by Consolidated Homeless Grant or CHG have low barrier program requirements as defined by the Washington Department of Commerce in the Consolidated Homeless Grant Guidelines. Checklist is going to be provided for self-assessment. And don't forget that a complete application consists of two parts: the organization information application, which is only required once, and then the project application that's been submitted. For the 2026 coordinated grant application, where to find the information. Application schedule has key dates. The NOFAs and RFPs have information regarding eligibility, amount of money available, application access, and submission, as well as staff contact information. Policy plans have detailed information, including regulations and requirements for each fund type. SurveyMonkey Apply is an online platform for submission of applications and has the application instruction and link to forms. And staff is available by email for questions and technical assistance.
Okay, so I will go through and discuss how to use SurveyMonkey Apply and give a demonstration. So the coordinated grant application is 100% online. On or after June 17th, you can go to the CGAP coordinated grant application website at apply-kitsap.smapply.io. That is our Kitsap County Coordinated Grant site. New applicants. So if you've never applied for funding from our funding sources before, you'll need to create a new account. Returning applicants will need to log in with an existing account. And step 3 is to get started. So save your work often. You may save and log out and resume later where you left off. Multiple members of your agency may contribute at different times to the application. So applications can be used by multiple users. So for new applicants, we'll go through how to access the website and how to register for a new account. So from apply-kitsap.smapply.io, you'll be able to click a link in the menu bar that says to register. So if you've not used this site before, first step is to register. We did get a heads up from our platform provider that they're going to be doing some maintenance and some upgrades to the website that will take place on June 18th. SurveyMonkey, they're making changes regarding registration and login pages to support multi-factor authentication, which will be rolling out later. So the pictures right now I'm displaying for the screenshots are current, but on the 18th, the pages may look a little bit different, but the same details should be collected. To register and apply, you'll create an account for your primary managing user. So like an agency executive or somebody that's going to be filling out most of the applications on behalf of an agency might want to be the primary user. You'll have to set a password. It must be at least 8 characters with at least 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, and 1 special character. You'll need to check the I'm not a robot and complete a CAPTCHA. And then finally, create account. After registering, you'll receive a confirmation email. You must verify your account using the link in the email. You will not be able to use the applicant side of the website without clicking the verification link. After you've verified your account, you'll be able to log into the SurveyMonkey website. After creating your primary account, it will require that you complete some basic information. This will allow you to create an organization. So this is different than the application. In SurveyMonkey Apply, the organization is really like a user group. You'll be able to add multiple members or users who can work on applications collaboratively. We'll discuss adding additional members shortly. Users who register separate primary accounts cannot collaborate on the same application. So if you have 2 different people independently registering as ABC organization, and both are listed as primary applicants, they won't be able to see each other's applications because they did not have a primary user that added other members. They'll both be in the system as separate accounts. So if you're planning to work collaboratively, make sure that you have 1 point person that is the primary administrator. You'll have to enter your organization name and a tax number to pass to the next page. After you finish registering, you'll receive an email and you'll be able to continue to the website. For returning users and for new applicants, we'll discuss how to access the site, reset passwords, adding members or collaborators, and changing your primary account user. So password reset. So if you're a new user or an existing user that does not recall your password, you can go to the login link on the website and choose the forgot your password field. And then you can enter the email address that you use to log into the website and click send instructions. If that email account is associated with an account on SurveyMonkey Apply, you'll receive an email with instructions on how to reset your password. You'll click a link within the email to do the reset. If you have multiple members of your organization that will be working collaboratively on an application, these are the steps that you go through to add those members. So after you've logged in as the primary administrator, click on the Manage Organization link along the menu bar. And then to add members or collaborators from the Manage Organization page, select the Members tab. And then there's a button that will say Add New Member. So to create a new member, you'll have to enter their name and their email address. Make sure to check the box that says notify member by email that they've been added. So they'll receive an email once they've been added to your member group, and then click send. So the user should then receive an email that will allow them to access the SurveyMonkey site. So transferring primary accounts. So when an organization is first registered, the user that registered the organization will become the primary administrator. If the primary administrator as the primary administrator, you have the option of transferring this access to another member on behalf of the organization. So if you have people that are changing roles in an organization or somebody has left the organization, you'll be able to move the primary account administrator to another user. That's part of the same user group on SurveyMonkey Apply. So you'll log in as the organization administrator, click Manage Organization in the top right corner, select Profile, and then click Transfer Primary Administrator. And then you'll be able to select one of the member accounts on SurveyMonkey Apply to transfer primary ownership to. Now we'll talk about creating an application. So we'll first start with the Organizational Information 2026 application. So after you've logged in, if you are a new user, you'll arrive at a mostly blank screen. Or if you're an existing user, you'll arrive at a screen with some of your past CGAP applications that you've submitted. After you've logged in, you'll click the link in the menu bar that says Programs. That will take you to the current applications that are open. So on the Programs page, it'll display the current applications that are open. For our CGAP application for homeless housing and services, you'll need to complete one organizational information application for your agency if you haven't already started one for another application. And you'll have to submit a homeless housing and services application separate for any projects which you are applying to our program for funding. To start an application, click on the link that says More. Each program page will contain general instructions. So there will be a link that will provide information about how to navigate the website, how to download, upload, submit, and review and editing. So it's really a PDF that contains information about kind of how to use the website so that you have a reference. We recommend printing these instructions for easy reference. On each application, there will be what's called the application instructions. This is question by question guidance on answering questions and filling out the application. This document will include all the questions that are included for the application that you're working on. So for organizational information 2026, there will be a Word document with all of the questions that will be asked on the website. So you can work in that Word doc or on a separate Word doc to complete your narrative questions and then paste them into the website. There will also be links for any forms and worksheets that will be required. So most applications will contain a budget and sources of financing worksheet that you'll need to complete, possibly separate attachments for performance measures or other documents created by coordinated grant application staff that you'll need to complete and attach on your application. These forms are available live now, and then they will also be included in the where the questions are within the application that it refers to. So for like the sources of financing worksheet that you'll need to upload, there'll be a question in the application where you'll need, the link will be available there as well for the worksheet that you need to complete and attach. So every organization must complete one organizational information application. To do so, you'll access the organization information application page and select apply in the upper right-hand corner. If you go into an application page and there is no apply button listed, it's usually because the application has not started or it has ended. So during periods where you're able to, during the application period from June 17th to July 15th, the apply button should be available for you to start your application. First, you'll want to name your application. So use an agency acronym or your agency name, followed for your organizational information application. So the organizational information application has 3 pages to complete. The first is the organization info. This will include questions related to uploading your organization info chart, and information about your board members. There's a worksheet that you'll need to complete for that. You'll need to attach your bylaws and board minutes. On page 2, this page is related to staff and budget for the agency. So you'll need to upload your agency budget, financial statements, balance sheet, cash flow, and audit is needed. And page 3, the financial, fiscal, and policies page, you'll upload your IRS 990, agency annual report if available, fiscal control policies, procurement policies, and non-discrimination policies. You must complete all questions on a page before you can submit that task. So each page, in order to have a full application, you'll have to complete each of the tasks that is assigned. Save your work frequently. There is a save and continue editing button at the bottom of every page. You can work offline. So kind of the safest method is to download all the instructions and the forms, complete it all offline, and then go back into SurveyMonkey Apply and input that data into the forms. Less safe is you can work directly in SurveyMonkey. There are pages that will require attachments in order to be saved or moved onto the next page. If you put in placeholder files or placeholder text, you'll have to make sure that that is reviewed before you submit it for application, because it can be an issue if you submit an application and you have a field that says my text here instead of the actual content for your response. Part 2, so you'll need to complete a Homeless Housing and Services 2026 application for each of the projects for which you're applying for our funding source, the HHGP, AHGP, and CHG. Starting tomorrow at noon, the application will open. You'll be able to go into the site and click Apply to begin your application. Right now, the forms and the application instructions are available. You'll need to name your application. So put in an agency name or an acronym for your agency, and then the name of the project. So if you were ABC organization and you'd name your application ABC org dash and then the project name. So housing and case management or something like that. After you've started your application, you'll land at the application dashboard. Here, you'll be able to see the task that'll be required for you to complete to submit your application. And this is also where you would be able to add and create members that can collaborate on this application. So on the dashboard, as you can see here in the images, there's tasks that are shown with a full green check mark. Those are tasks that have been completed, tasks that have been started, but have not yet been completed will have a half full circle. Tasks that have not been started will have a empty circle. And then when all tasks are complete, a button in the left-hand side of the navigation menu will display the submit button. So you will not be able to submit your application until each task is completed. If you have finished a task and you want to go back and make some changes or edits, you can still do that up until the application deadline. So if you need to edit a form, you can go into the form. There's in the upper right-hand corner, there's a 3-dot menu button. You can click that button and choose edit to go back and edit a task that you've completed, excuse me. There are other forms that you'll need to complete and attach to your application. One of these is the services budget and financing worksheet. So this will be listed on the financial information task, and it's also one of the documents attached in the resource list. And this worksheet you'll need to complete. There are 2 worksheets within. One is a sources of financing. So this is where you put in funding for your program. This is both what you are requesting for funding to operate your program that you're applying to from AHGP, HHGP, and CHG funding. And here on this page, you'll also put in other funding that is used to operate your program. So maybe you get other funding from a DSHS contract or from the state. Maybe there's federal funding, donations. So any other funding that's used to operate your program, you'll want to list on this page so that we get a picture of the full amount of funding required to operate your program. From there, on the budget worksheet, you'll take the amounts that you're requesting from the CGAP process and the amounts that you are receiving from other funding sources, and you'll show the budget breakdown on how those funds will be used by each of the cost categories that is listed on this page. So submitting an application, once you've completed all the tasks for your application, you'll see all the green check marks. When all tasks have been completed, the submit button will display in green and allow you to submit your application. You'll receive an email from the system once you've submitted. You may edit your application up until the close date for the application, which I think is actually July 15th, but I think my slide is incorrect here.
Yeah, July 15th at noon.
Okay. So complete applications. You must have an organizational information application completed and submitted by the deadline, and you must have a services application completed and submitted by the deadline. So 5 tips for a great application. Give the full story about your program within the parameters of the questions and instructions provided. Have someone else proofread, check for clarity, content, and continuity, and double check your math and do the budget forms correctly. There is error correction on the budget forms. If there are issues on the budget forms, there will be areas that highlight red that there's an error. Make sure that they are addressed, and make sure that you've uploaded the correct forms. Yeah, so always go through before you submit, make sure that the budget forms that you're submitting for the application is for the application that it belongs to. And don't wait until the last minute to submit your application. Okay, so for application assistance, if you need technical assistance, so there's an issue with the website, or there's other website related issues, there is a really good help section on the website. In the navigation bar, there's a little icon with an eye on it that you can use in the upper right-hand corner and click on one of the options. If you have questions about the content of the application, so you're not sure about what the question is asking, or if there's issues with the forms that you have questions about, you'll want to reach out to your staff members, grant managers. So that would be Carl and Virginia, with questions related to the application itself. Right, so I'll turn this back over to Carl for the review and award process.
So the part one, risk assessment and eligibility review. Risk assessment criteria is included in the NOFA. Staff will review all applications submitted for organizations and program eligibility. Part two, the eligible applications reviewed and scored by staff and the Grant Recommendation Committee, or the GRC. That scoring sheet is also included in the NOFA. Project soundness, community need and benefit, and project financial feasibility. The committee reviewing your application and the review process will vary depending on the funding source for your project. The Housing and Homelessness Services, HHGP, AHGP, CHG funding. In-person staff applicant presentations with the GRC will take place August 26th through the 27th. Presentations are 10 minutes and Q&A is also 10 minutes. The presentation schedule will be emailed in August. You may bring anyone you like, but include those who can best answer questions about the overall agency and the specific project. After all presentations have concluded, the GRC discusses projects and recommends funding for the projects. Review and award process recommendations. Review committees discuss projects and recommend funding after all the presentations and Q&A have been concluded. Funding recommendations for HHGP, AHGP, CHG are posted September 23rd for a 30-day public comment period. And then recommendations for Kitsap County funds are forwarded to the Kitsap County Board of Commissioners for a public hearing and approval on October 27th. Assistance. So for best assistance on applications, contact myself, Virginia McCaslin. If you have issues with the website, that would be Corey. And Leigh is available if you have information about what needs to be done for contracts or any of the reimbursements. Okay, time for question and answers. For anything that came up during the session, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call on you.
I'll go ahead and I'll stop recording here as well.